Hello friends, this is Coach Bala here. Hope all of you are doing well. You know what? I thought I will make a recording from, I'm traveling as I said. This time I'm in Phuket. It's a beach here in Phuket. It's a very nice tourist vacation spot in Thailand if folks haven't um, know about this the first time for me, and it's a very nice place, especially around this time of the year. The weather is also fantastic, and here I am, like in the morning, just going for a walk. I thought I'll go for a run. I thought this place, you can see the background there, and then from there the beach extends till that corner. I think it's about a 10-mile sort of that loop. So I thought I'll do the loop, but the banking of the beach is a little too high, even though it's pretty nice hard sort of sand that you can run, but the bank is too high, the angle is too high, so if you run in that angle your ankle will give way. So I had to basically call off the run today, and I'm just walking. So when I was walking, I thought, why not at least finish the weekend message, even though it'll be released a week later, and I'm recording this on this Saturday. So for the next week I'm recording today. So guys, first of all, as when you hear this, you would have completed MESO 2, which is, can't believe that all of you have just started, and now you guys are now I would say pretty well trained, systematic and regular runner. So having done 6 weeks of regular training and 2 weeks of warm-up, your body is now sort of woken up. It's realizing that, okay, I can't get away from this. This man or this lady is pushing me every day in a very structured manner, and there is also an increase in effort that I need to put. So I might better, put my work and make the body better. That's what your body is right now, which is phenomenal, right? Which is what we want. So that's where you get into MESO 3. And when you get into MESO 3, we go and take it to the next level in terms of the intensity. And of course, 5K runners, you will be looking at your last couple of weeks of training, and then you get your race day. So a lot of exciting things will happen in the MESO 3, which is what you're going to see going forward. And this is also a time when you need to be even more rigorous in following the instructions of the training program, because we're increasing in intensity, increasing in distance. So all the effort that you've put in till now is for slowly having the ability to withstand the impact, right? So it is within that construct I wanted to now introduce the next sort of framework through which we need to now start thinking about our training. Very important that we follow this framework. So if you remember, I had given in various messages till now various ways of looking at your training, right? There was one I told about the training train, how you can get out of the train. So that was one thought process about training that we talked about. The second part I explained to you what about the cardiovascular, musculoskeletal, mental strength training, the inside out transformation that is taking place. So that's another way of looking at our training. Now in this episode, I want to now take another third angle of looking at our training program and how you need to understand the training program as such, how it is sort of following through for you. So the framework that I want to introduce is what is called as the FIT framework, F-I-T. Now FIT framework means F stands for frequency, I stands for interval or intensity rather, and T stands for time between workouts. So frequency, intensity and time between workouts. These three pillars are intertwined among other things in your training program. So you need to recognize that, and you need to follow through this FIT framework for you to be fit, in pun intended, to be fit to do better runs. You know what I mean? So let us double click on that. Frequency. So the idea here is these three pillars: frequency, intensity, and time between runs, essentially are required to be done in a very systematic way to execute on a training program, so that you get the best benefits of the training. That's the idea. So what is frequency? As we explained, or as we have discussed before, how many times you do a run is very important, as opposed to doing once the distance. So what I mean by that is, let us say in a week I'm asking you to do three 3-mile runs on the weekday and one 6-mile run on the weekend. So in other words, 3 times 3 is 9 miles plus another 15 miles you're running for the week. So that means you are asked to run 4 times a week, right? So instead of that, for some reason, you decided that instead of doing three times, let me do 1 6 times during the weekday and 1 3-mile run and then 1 long run, that is 6 miles. So the total distance is still 15 miles, but you have only done 3 times because you have only done 2 times weekday run and once weekend run. So the total distance is the same, but the frequency is not the same. Or in other words, the training impact for case B is actually worse than case A, because you have not hit the frequency metric. So it's important that we take our body through multiple cycles of this training cycles. So you remember, we are going for the training impact. The training impact is when the body is in a state of controlled stress, right? You remember there was that framework we discussed about that controlled stress, aerobic versus anaerobic modes of training. So when you do not put your body in that controlled stress frequency cycle, your body is losing out on one training effect enhancement cycle. Or in other words, you are only 75% as effective. While you completed the distance, you still have not gained or reaped the benefit of training by reducing on one frequency. Okay, so that's why you got to stick to the frequency. That is the first one. The second thing is intensity. So every run, by now you would have realized that every run has a specific purpose. There are some runs who ask you to go for just relaxed runs. Some people have runs that have sprints, some people have strides, some people have hill strides. There are probably about 15 to 20 different types of runs we have in our library, and we execute that in a systematic, structured manner. Now, the idea behind that is we control the intensity of each of these runs. The intensity matters. It delivers different outcomes for different times. And it's a coach's job to design the intensity for all of you in such a way that it all comes together. For instance, if you do a long run on a Saturday, the next run, which is on a Tuesday, we make sure that it is not an intensity run, because we still want your body to recover, for instance. Likewise, if a runner is brand new, there is this thing that up to 500 miles of running, we do not introduce too much of intensity runs. Or in other words, probably in your first season, you would have not completed 500 miles total running if you're doing a 10K or even a half marathon. So probably you will not see many intensity runs. Intensity is done only after 500 miles when we believe the body is ready. That's also scientifically told to us. So that is where the intensity comes, and an intensity of a run is super important. It's almost like having a Ferrari engine. Time to time, if you see this Formula 1 drivers, before they sort of start off with that high-speed car races, they'll be at the pit stop and press the accelerator to full. Like that. Many times they will do. Basically what? The engine, they're just checking what is the max the engine can do. And the engine also is sort of pressure tested, so to speak. It's somewhat akin to the same thing. Your base pace run is when you don't even realize that the engine is on. You just keep going. But time to time, you got to make that Ferrari engine check so that you sort of flush out the system, so to speak. That's one of the intensity run objectives. So there are many such objectives like that, but that is, that's the intensity portion of it. So you have to read instructions for that. If you do not read instructions, then what happens is you just go and do your own thing, which is just could be a base pace run, but that day it could have been an intensity run, and you missed out on the training impact, or one day of training is gone, right? So that's the idea behind the second part, which is the intensity portion of the FIT framework. Now let us talk about the last one, which is the time between runs, which is often overlooked, and people make mistakes, and because of that they struggle, they have injuries, the training is not sufficient, the training impact is not sufficient, all kinds of things. What is training? What is time between runs we are talking about? So when you are going through a training program, a structured training program like ours, we don't plan for the day for you. We don't even plan for the week. We actually plan at a minimum 3 weeks at a time for all of you. And we already have a plan for your entire season. But we plan every 3 weeks for you. And part of that planning is to provide you enough gap, provide you and your body enough gap between runs so that your body can recover, the time between runs. So that's why you will see, if you have a long run, you will have a day of no running before the long run, and at least a day, if not more, of no runs after the long run, especially as the long run distances increases. So why this is important, folks, is that the biggest injury that happens is not because of the impact injury that we all think might be the reason. It is not. It is the accumulation of stress that has taken place over the period of the training program. So what it means is, for instance, an injury happens when the increase in your training effect, which is, let's call it the muscular strength, the increase in your training effect whenever you do a run is less than the increase in the stress that the body has created because of running. So if you think about it, every time you run, you have a setup where your body is under extreme stress, or not, if not extreme stress, a lot of stress. So when the body is in stress, it gets accumulated. Think it's negative energy, negative pressure, muscle tear, all that. But your body is also getting strengthened because of training impact. So if a situation happens that, in a run, 10 units of training impact increases, training effect increases, and your body stress increases by 5 units. So just for a simple math, you are 10 minus 5 in the positive side. So you are in good shape when you come back to the next run. But in the same situation, if you are in such a situation where after a run, 10 units of training effect increases, but the stress in the body has increased by 15 units. That means after that run, you don't have much training effect because your body is now going towards injury because you have a -5 there. So that -5 is the accumulated stress. So when you have this accumulated stress, this -5 has to come down to 0 before you go back to the next run. So imagine you give a day off after this run where you had a negative stress accumulation, and in that day off your body recovers and that -5 becomes neutralized to 0. Then you start the next day, you start off with a clean slate. But it doesn't happen that easily, and that there is always, from -5 it comes down to -1. It doesn't go back to 0 before you start the next run. So what happens is there is already a residual accumulation of this stress in the body. So as this residual accumulation of stress increases over the training cycle, you will reach a tipping point where this residual accumulation is large enough to cause injury for you. Yeah, this is a sort of a little bit of a science behind how injury happens over the training are not in one day. The same legs that are going very well, you suddenly realize that 6 weeks later you're beginning to develop shin pain. Well, how did that happen? This is what is happening. That residual stress is slowly increasing. It's like a bank account. Only thing, it's a negative bank account, where slowly the residual stress is increasing, and you haven't given enough time for that residual stress to sort of dissipate away, and your training effect, the delta in training effect, is less than the increase or the delta in stress, the negative stress. So, what does this mean? This means that time between runs is critical. So you cannot be a superhero about it and just keep training every day, just keep running every day. Yes, there are folks who do that, but they are all trained athletes. For those of us who are amateurs like me, just getting started, 1, 2, 3, 4 seasons, I would say you are still early stage of your running. You better give time between runs for your body to take down the residual stress, so that you can come back fresh for positive training impact. So that's what I would say, folks, from this framework perspective. The FIT framework: F, frequency of your runs; I, intensity of your runs; T, time between runs. Or in other words, make sure to stick to the training program in terms of the frequency, stick to the training program in terms of the instructions, stick to the training program in terms of days between runs. Or simply put, even if you haven't understood any of it or don't care about any of it, just stick to the training program. Read the instructions. We will take care of it all. Make sense? Hope you are able to appreciate the science behind this training regimen that you are in right now, that is going to take you to the start line feeling good, feeling strong, feeling beautiful, and ready to take on the world. That's what I would say. The FIT framework. Hope all of this makes sense, folks. All the very best for the next mesocycle. Signing off from this very beautiful place, as I said, as I was walking almost around 6:30 in the morning now, and some sun is coming out. So I sign off for showing you a beautiful view of Phuket, that hopefully when you're thinking about your travel plans, vacation plans, definitely consider this. Quite a cost-effective place as well, I must tell you. Quite a cost-effective place. And in fact, yesterday, it's part of a company sort of offsite we came here. There's this place called Siam Knitted or something. Not able to exactly pronounce it. But it's like a Broadway Cirque du Soleil kind of a show about Thailand culture and the various culture that is herein. Man, that was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So if you're coming here, make sure you attend that show. Signing off, guys. This is the beach. Take a look at it. Absolutely beautiful. Sun is rising early morning, and weather is around probably 60s now, and the sand is like, the beach is like very nice. Arabian Sea, absolutely nice. Small pleasures of life, and we got to enjoy all of that. Whatever health is giving us, and whatever circumstances is giving us, if you have the right positive mindset that running offers, you start enjoying small things. And I got to say many years before I started running, I've been to many such leadership offsites, or any offsites like this, or even own vacation. I don't ever imagine waking up at 5:45 in the morning and then go for a stroll like this in this beautiful place and just be myself, my thoughts, and you all for now. That's what running offers. And this is the journey I've been in for the last, 18 years now, 15 years plus. And I'll never take anything. Thank God I started running. Otherwise, what I would have done is I would have had a nice party previous night, had one or two more extra drink, and would have been sleeping and just about waking up at about 8 o'clock in time for breakfast in the day. That was what I was doing before. But instead, I'm enjoying this nature, this beautiful setting, feeling healthy, feeling top of the world, feeling positive. What else you need? That's what running offers. Running is not just about running anymore. It's the operating system for a life on which a beautiful life can be built. And I want all of you to do that. Good luck, guys. And all the very best for me, Sutri. Take care.